The CRX and the NSX, the reason they do the X, it's a mathematical symbol that means unknown variant, which means sort of experimental, like super crazy. So NSX means new sports, mathematical symbol X, which is like super experimental. So a lot of people say new sports experiment, or new sports like unknown quantity, like it's unlimited.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Super cool.
That's nerd
No,
stuff.
it makes it super.
Oh man, Drew, you know where we are?
No.
You know where we are?
Okay, I do.
You do, but I hope Twitch knows where we are. We teased this a little bit. Super excited to be here. Always excited to be on the live stream, but today is a very special day for me because we are at an undisclosed location. We can't tell you where we're at, but we can show you where we are, and that's the Honda Collection Hall here in Southern California. Let's go inside. Can't show that, but look at that. American Honda Museum. Look at this, an Indy V8, which I will contest. This is the golden age of Indy car engines because the twin turbo V6 doesn't quite do it for me. All apologies, Honda, but still, like this is the OG, and I'm touching it. And I shouldn't be touching it. I'm already in trouble. No. This was a 2003 engine. Super small displacement too from a V8, which is really crazy. I love the airbox and everything. For a while, Honda was the sole engine manufacturer for IndyCar, and they ran the very first Indy 500 that they did was in 2006, where they were the sole manufacturer, and they had 0 engine failures, which I think is really impressive for Honda. That's the very first Honda dealership, and I want to say it was on Pico Boulevard in Southern California, so that's very cool to see too. And I think they have a recreation of that inside. Moving over here now, this is really cool. That is a design buck. So this is how they make, this is a clay model. This is how they make cars, essentially. This is how the designers craft cars. Nowadays they do a lot with 3D, but this is like pre-3D. A lot of designers still prefer to sculpt in clay, and this is how they get the lines. Those are the tools. They don't make these tools. No one makes these tools. All these tools are custom made. Every designer has their own tool that they do. When they do these tools like Toyota and Honda, all the other manufacturers, when they do this, they have to create these tools by hand because they have to achieve certain shapes. So there's no like car designer 101 tools. So I think that that's really cool. I like the way they design old school style like that with the clay models and everything. Oh, here's the man himself, Soichiro Honda. So that was I want to say that was a 65 F1 car that Richie Gunther won the Mexico Grand Prix, but I'm not entirely sure because that was her very first F1 win. Honda was originally...
Do you know what that is?
No, I don't. Drew's going to school me on something.
No, I don't.
Oh, I thought Drew... Sorry, Twitch, we do not know what that is, but I want to say that could be Soichiro's signature in kanji.
Looks like it.
Yes, so... That's really cool. Man, I want to touch it. No touching, Drew? I know.
I mean, it doesn't say no touching.
Okay, then I'm just going to
There you go.
just really quick. Just touching greatness.
Gather the energy.
I actually had a chance to go to Honda Collection Hall at Twin Ring. That's the parent museum. Super amazing place. And Soichiro's legend, he had a Honda Legend in Japan. He had a Legend that he used as a daily driver, and he had a chauffeur drive him all the way up until his death. And one of the people that was giving the tour I asked him if I could touch the door. I mean, Car and Driver 10 Best, 2004 Greenest Automaker. Just so many awards. So many awards. You know, look at the helmets too. So good. I'd love to see if they had like Ayrton Senna's helmet, like the OG Brazilian livery. That would be really cool if they had that here. But so many amazing accolades. Super, super cool. I like this one. Really love this one. This was in, I want to say, mid-60s that this one came out. Super cool. I love the tonneau top. This is the S600 Roadster. I want to say it was a very, very small engine. I want to say like a 1000cc. So it was really, really cool.
Panda Vengeance wants to know if that was your Honda that Gridlight picked up.
Oh yeah, no. Chris Stewart is teasing me. He's kind of trolling me. He picked up a CRX 2002 spec car. He's calling it, and it's got all the OG parts on it, but it's definitely not my car.
I was wondering.
My car's rusting away. Nitrous Express, and behind Nitrous Express in Texas. So if there's anybody near Nitrous Express, come pick up my CRX and see if you can help me with it. It's so sad. This museum and the Toyota Museum, which is very nearby, because Toyota used to be here in Southern California. Toyota and Honda and Nissan used to be in Southern California, but California, it's tough to have an automaker in California these days. But their museum's was right down the road before they moved to Plano, Texas. All these cars are not like, hey, we built a really cool car, let's save it. This was done by an employee of Honda, I want to say in 1994. He just said, you know what, there's so much historical significance. I'm going to petition the leadership at Honda and try to get cars to this museum. And Toyota did it the same way. So a car doesn't roll off the assembly line. They go, let's save this one, it's significant. They had to buy cars. So I think it's really weird. It's like, hi, this is Steve. I'm calling from Honda, and I'd like to buy your Integra Type R because it seems to have low mileage. So they restore all these cars. These cars have all been driven. So a lot of them have like tons of miles on them. So I think that's really neat that they do that. Here's a little deal on the S600. Never sold in the US. Oh, it found its way here from Switzerland. What? No. Double overhead cams, side drive carbs, rear wheel chain drive. Chain drive, I never knew that about this. Whoa. 95, look at, even back in the day, you were VTeching, yo. 9,500 RPM redline. That was so crazy. From 54 RPM. This little guy here, this is Osimo. It was Honda's foray into robotics. It's supposed to be designed as an assistant. I think they actually got Osimo to go upstairs, which was really crazy for a robot back in the day, so super advanced at the time. And there's been a couple generations of Osimo. This one here, also super special. This is actually the Honda Jet. Honda prides itself on being not a car manufacturer, but they say we're more than a car manufacturer, we're an engine manufacturer. And they have a bunch of engines on display over there. Started off in motorcycles, then got into four-wheeled vehicles. So I think it's pretty cool that they're also doing jets. So and it's actually supposed to be a really advanced jet. Someone has
Never Let Off says, tell Nads I will go pick up his car. He's in Texas. He will fix the rust.
Never let off. We'll slide in my DMs. We're going to figure that out. I got to figure if I get that CRX back, that would be amazing. Because there's a lot of heritage.
According to Cheeky, dude, S600 are super cheap here, like 1,000 euros.
Oh, cheeky. Wherever you are with the euros, that kills me. And that's what they said. The car was never sold here, and a lot of U.S. soldiers like bought the cars and everything. So I'd love to. The S600, bringing one in. I'd love to do like an S600 with like a B-Series swap, or maybe like an F20 or something like that. Like an F20 would be good because then you have like the S2000 and S600 heritage. I'm nerding out now. So this is, I want to say this is Honda's first vehicle that was sold in the U.S. Yep, there it is. First Honda automobile sold in the U.S. Two-cylinder, air-cooled, 600cc, 45 horsepower. The crazy thing about this car, I want to say it was $1 a pound. It cost $1,345, something like that, and it weighed 1,345 pounds. So I thought that was kind of funny, right? Isn't that cool? $1 a pound. You can buy this car for $1 a pound. Now, I'll tell you this, we saw one like this, N600, at the Peterson Museum, if anybody was watching the Peterson Museum, and Hurt and I were talking about, like, what it'd be like to B-Series swap. I don't know if anybody likes Datsun Roadsters, you know, the OG Datsun Roadsters. Like, people are always doing SR20 swaps and Datsun Roadsters, but I'd love to see someone do, like, a B-Series swap into something like this. And I don't know, if someone knows of one or something, because I can't recall ever seeing something like that. Is it even possible? I don't know, but I'd like to see, like, a B-Series in this or something, or even a D-Series would be really nice. Oh, there it is, $1,395. So it's $1,395, 1,395 pounds. Really, really cool. Two-cylinder, air-cooled.
Super cool.
Look at the bumperettes on this, too. So much style. When it was first sold, like, this was sold in 1970, like, no one had cars like this in the 70s, so, like, you had to be, like, super early adopter, and probably people really didn't like them, too, because, you know, racism and all that and everything, but, so I think it's pretty cool that, but they eventually sold, like, 40,000 units. This one's a Z600, this is a follow-up to the N600. This one's also, I love the coupe and the, technically this is your B-pillar, so this like this Hofmeister kink they call it on the back is really cool. So it's like Honda's first foray into the hot hatch, you know. After that one also. In that one you could see a lot of Mini Cooper. See a lot of Mini in that one. But in this one, in the Z600, you see a little bit more about like Honda's design language coming through on everything. Look at this, like the OG, like, dude, don't jack my gas, yo. No. Oh, soapbox derby car. Wow, look at that. Oh, so cool. The other thing they show here, so many like OG ads and everything. Look at this. If Chase is watching, Design Daddy, I love like elements like that and everything. Look at the look at what they're wearing. Come on.
People still dress like that?
I do. Oh, so cool. So this is Z600 here. This is the Jam. I think first year car was 1974 Civic. This is 75 Civic. So, but this is the very first Civic hatch. So they had this in a 3-door and a 5-door. So they had a coupe and a sedan-esque, But this one had the 4-cylinder. I think it was like a 1.5 liter. Made like not a lot of horsepower. 53 horsepower. There it is. 700,000 of these they sold. Like this is the one that really got on start. Love the hood, the vents and everything. So, look at how big like the side markers are and everything. Top speed of 86 miles an hour. Oh,
I love the interior.
Oh my God! I want to open the door.
Find someone that works here.
I know. I'm going to ask David. I'm going to ask our friend David.
To start with, basically, this is the first car with action in the U.S.
Just so cool.
And it was way too small.
Dark Coasters wants to know, is this rear-wheel drive? I think it's the last rear-wheel drive model.
So it's popular.
The Civic?
This one.
Because the islands.
No, I want to say this is front-wheel drive.
But the U.S.
This is front-wheel drive. I'm not sure. I don't even know. Wow.
Fuel efficient.
You got me questioning it. No, it's front-wheel drive.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
It didn't sell that well.
So
Until this one came along.
the Roadster was the rear-wheel drive version. So
Wait, are you going to ask?
what's that?
You're going to ask?
Excuse me, David? Yes. Is it okay to open the door? No, we can't touch. We can't touch. No touching. No touching. No touching. No. So close. So close.
We tried.
So I'm gonna put my hands behind my back. So this one, 85 Civic. Oh, this wagon.
I love the style.
The wagon, right?
Yeah.
I feel like this could be like the next thing on the come up. Like the Stance kids will adopt it. You know how they got into like older Mercedes and older BMWs.
Yeah.
Like I'd love to see someone get on with something like this. And I love wagons too to begin with. So like the Wagavan, like everybody talks about it, and we're gonna have BC's car on the Build Biology, the all-wheel drive one that we showed at SEMA, which is super sick. But the Wagavan, like, it's super cool. I get it. Everybody loves it. It's a shuttle and everything. But this would be really cool to see someone do something like that. Yeah.
I'd love to build something like this.
Right? Completely. Who gets down with this? Oh, this is Honda's first wagon. Let's say. I didn't know that. More classic ads.
Can we buy that shit car shirt? Is it available yet?
Yes, it should be. I don't know.
Check Hoonigan.com.
Yes, should be.
You think we'd be more informed?
Yes, we should know. I don't know. Somebody just put this on me. Like worst demographic to wear the shirt. Like this is not a good ad play right here. Like, everyone's gonna be like, do not want that shirt now. This is the one we were just talking about. This is the wagon guy.
It's my favorite Accord, really.
This was available as a front-wheel drive or an all-wheel drive. So BC converted his to all-wheel drive, but it was already sold. It was Honda's first four-wheel drive. So this was like super popular back east, winter vehicle and everything. This thing was really, really good for that.
Look at the the significant design differences, like 3 years max.
Man,
it's huge.
I think it's so crazy. And you know what's also crazy? Like back in the day, when you go back to like the 50s and the 40s, like they would do new versions of cars every year. But then as you get into like the 80s and the 90s, and now today, you have to make a car last for like 3-4 years, and then you have like what's called a mid-cycle refresh, headlights, taillights, change it up a little bit, and then you completely redesign the car. So the cars last a lot longer. But I like that you noticed that. I didn't really get that, but you could see.
I mean,
that.
it's significant.
Like if you look at like the headlights and everything too, and everything, you know. And then you have the bumpers starting to have the pedestrian standards for the bumpers and everything too. So yeah, super cool.
I love this. The rear window we have going on here.
Look at the design element up here with the fence and everything back here. Oh, this is so cool. Like you'll never see that on a car today, especially on even like the double window on this.
Yeah,
and
no, I
everything.
mean it's
so cool.
I know Honda's good shit on a lot, but it's so. I mean, all this stuff is so cool.
And this is all-wheel drive too, so it's not just front-wheel drive.
These little design elements are just so interesting.
And there's another interior, like the fabric on the interior, like ultimate 80s fabric. And I would even say this is 84. This feels like 70s to me.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
Like,
with a lot of brown.
Completely. Oh man.
Nads used to start a podcast. We're kind of doing that right now.
Yeah, I mean we're twitching, you know. So this is the jam right here. So, this is the very first SI. So this came out in '86. Oh man, no. Oh, they're claiming that this was the beginning of the tuner movement. Yeah, I guess I could see that. EF hatch. No, I remember a buddy of mine from Redline, James Aldua, got one, and it was crazy when he got it. Like, it was just so much different from anything else. No, I stand corrected. I'm sorry. James got the EG when everybody else was still doing the EFs and everything, and that was really cool. It was like the fastest EG.
It's not called twitching?
76 Accord. I never really dug these. I never really, all the years, never really been an Accord guy.
Yeah, I love the front. It's a good-looking front end.
And the name Civic comes from CVCC, which is continuously variable combustion chamber, which is like a precursor to like a VTEC sort of thing. So that's where the Civic name comes from. It was originally CVCC.
God of Shades says Nad is my favorite person to hear talking about cars.
Oh, wow. Thank you, God of Shades.
That's a high compliment.
I appreciate that, man. Really? Man, I don't know. I really like Hondas too. So. But yeah, never really got down with the Accord. But it's weird when you see this Accord compared to the current generation Accord. This looks more like a Civic hatch than it does like any Accord, right? But I guess it was just like a bigger version of the hatch, of the Civic hatch, essentially, when it first came out. So,
I mean, I really like the front end, but I feel like it just kind of falls off.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. But look at this. Oh, God, that's so good.
Go to the Preludes, damn it. I mean, we're going to go to everything.
We're going to go to everything.
We're literally going to every car here.
Yes, we're going to touch on every car here without touching the cars.
We could even go to the bikes.
Yes. I know nothing about the bikes.
Same.
But what's crazy is like we were saying, Honda was originally a motorcycle manufacturer, and that's where they cut their teeth.
Tim wants to know: does Nads have a formal education in anything, or is his knowledge 100% first-hand experience?
I'm a fan of Wikipedia. That's about it, And I've been around for a few years, obviously, because I'm an old guy, and I've just seen a lot and worked for a lot of different magazines. I've been fortunate enough to travel around the world, so I don't know anything about anything, but I'm a big fan of everything. So I like to travel and just experience. Like, I just got down with Leah Pritchett and talking about her Top Fuel car. Oh my God, she taught me like why the wheels are staggered. I used to think it was for staging, but it's because the way the engine rotates, the chassis actually twists, and you need to have both wheels stay on the ground. So stuff like that I learn, and I love absorbing stuff like that, but I have no formal education. Can't drive, can't wrench, can't tune, can't do anything. I'm just a fanboy of everything. So I just love talking to people who know. So yeah.
Pacheco says, Wiki Doctorate.
Yes, that's it. Thank you, Pacheco. 83 Accord LX. So this one I kind of like.
Yeah.
This one I like,
It's like big body enough that I like
Completely. Oh, this was the first one that I'm reading this now, was the first Japanese car built at the Marysville, Ohio plant. Honda was one of the first foreign companies to start a assembly plant in the United States. Now pretty much everybody has them, but it was really cool to see Honda do that in '83, way back in the day. Look at the pinstripe too. Come on, man. True, you can't go wrong with pinstriping.
I don't always agree with that statement, but I currently agree with it.
Yes. I mean, back in the day, you couldn't go wrong with it.
Nads is the #1 reason to watch Hoonigan Twitch. Heart.
Oh, well, thank you for the heart.
I mean, Twitch does love you.
Oh, wow. I'm super honored. I don't really have the time to go on the show that much because I'm working like on a bunch of different stuff behind the scenes and everything, and I'm usually the guy who brings in cars for the daily transmission show. So I got that as my normal side gig, but yeah, I don't know. I don't normally get the chance to do this, so I really like the opportunity to do this. And thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. 86 Accord. Oh, first Honda with pop-up headlights. Remember pop-up headlights?
I love pop-ups.
I need to go back to them. I had a 7M Supra and loved the pop-up headlights, but I never was cool enough to figure out how to do the wink, like the sleepy head, like the S chassis and the what was it, the RX-7s. You'd see that with the little sleepy headlights. I could never do that, so. This is really cool. Oh, double wishbone suspension, front and rear. This is the first to have double wishbone suspension, which double wishbone suspension is a control arm at the top and the bottom. It allows for, better handling, essentially. It allows more independence between the two wheels, so I like that a lot, too.
We have no beers yet.
I know. We're going to find beers. I have another secret location we're going to go to right after this that's right down the road, and they have beers for me, so I'll be crazier Nads, I guess. I'm a little hungover right now too, so I could use a beer right now. So.
And I drove today, guys. Don't worry.
I know. So Drew's my DD. Thank you, Drew.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, this one I really love. Back in the day, there was a guy that did a wagon like this, an Accord wagon like this, that was slammed and painted and everything. Oh, so good, so good. Because that rear window, super cool. And when I used to work at Super Street, Rick Daddy, had an Accord wagon as a daily, but it was a beater. It wasn't really that nice. And I also want to say, I don't want to blow up his spot, but Big Mike, who's a famous guy with a Prelude, he's got a really cool Prelude. He's got a wagon that's sitting on these gnarly wheels that I never even heard of, these super crazy GDM wheels. So, oh, this one's the first Honda designed, engineered, and manufactured in the United States. That's really cool. So when they say design, that means they're designing them here rather than in Japan. A lot of the modern companies now have design studios all over the world, so they want to put the studio in the country of origin where they're going to design the car for it, because it allows the designers to sort of like immerse themselves in the culture, so to speak. I'd love to see like Japanese dudes like walking around, seeing how much Americans eat and everything, you know, and going, okay, we have to make the cup holders bigger or something, you know. So I think that's how they get down with it. So this is really cool, 4-cylinder, 19,000. That was 19,000 in '91. Does that seem a little pricey for $91?
Definitely.
So that's super pricey for an Accord, man. Jeez, man. Oh, man. Back in the day, this is the first CUV, which is compact utility vehicle, that was designed explicitly for the U.S. market. So this is only available in the U.S. I was editor of Super Street in like another life, like 2001, and we had a '99 CRV that we were trying to make go 10s. We were going to do an H22 swap. Honda was helping us with it. We kind of got halfway done with it, and then precursor to my time at Hoonigan, we couldn't figure out how to make it go fast. We just gave up on it. I don't know where the car ended up. I think it went back to Honda, but I would love to see a CRV do 10s, you know. Back in the day, people used to slam these. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Of course.
Like slammed CRVs. That's so cool, man.
What's up, Deb?
Come on, man. Oh, really, really love this. S2000, come on. So now I would counter that I prefer the AP1 to the AP2. I like the headlights better. I like the look of the car better. Also the engine revved to 9,000 RPM. The F20 revved to 9,000 RPM. The rear suspension was set up in such a way that it was a better handling car, but it wore out tires. A lot of people didn't like the VTEC thing because it, like normal consumers, felt like my car's braking if I'm going to 9,000 RPM. It's too much. So, and it's also not a very torquey motor, so it was very you had to rev it to get it to perform. So the AP2 had an F22 in it, and it revved to only 8,200, so they cut the rev limit down, and the handling wasn't really as spicy, but still love this car. Kato, love Kato's car.
It's such a move for Honda to get into this territory.
What is this? This is not a Honda. This is out of left field, you know? It's we do Civics, we do Accords, we do CRVs. And
it really was out of nowhere, right?
There you go. We do this too. Yeah, that was really cool. This and the NSX, I feel were the two super crazy game changers of Honda, that they went completely different. I like that they think that way still.
Panda Vengeance wants to know if Twitch wanted to do Nads car as a Twitch car, would Nads let us, provided it followed what he wanted to do to the car?
Oh, to build the CRX?
Yeah, let's just say on Twitch, would you be willing to let that be a Twitch build?
Man.
If we did everything you wanted to do?
Yeah, I'd be down with that, you know? What I want to do is I drove the guys from Hotsport, Brian Gillespie, shout out to Brian Gillespie, super Honda guru. He did a K20 swap in a CRX, and I actually had Tarzan Yamada come here, and it was supercharged. I want to say it was a Comptech supercharger, supercharged K20, and that thing was a beast, torque, steer, everything. But it really handled very well for what it was, and it had the OG hood cutouts way before the FD drivers were doing hood cutouts. I'm like, what happened? He's like, I couldn't build the hood scoop in time. And I'm like, you were so far ahead of the Hot Boy style, you didn't even know. And that was in 2003, and that's when I fell in love with the CRX. I'm like, I want to do a K20 supercharged. Now I'd maybe try to do a K24 if it would fit, and maybe not a supercharged. I might go naturally aspirated. But I really love the CRX. I really love the handling of that car. And there's one here that I can't wait to show everybody that I'm just... Is it possible, Drew, to be hard and wet at the same time. Should I not say that on Twitch? I didn't have a beer in my hand yet. I know. Drew's like he's SMH. Drew's constant state of mind is SMH. He's just constant.
Yes, though.
Okay. So that car is like my.
Not gonna take that away from you.
So, no, Prelude. Love the Preludes. So this is the OG Prelude. This is the very first one. I love what the Prelude became. And speaking of Big Mike earlier, he's got a gorgeous Prelude that was really, really cool.
Real quick, Mike, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub.
Oh, thank you, Mike.
I've always had a soft spot for Preludes.
Really?
Yeah.
So like this one I like. This is the Big Mike era one. And he's got a nutty one with like a Jay's Racing front end that's been totally tweaked and everything. It was really,
we have
really
a Twitch
gorgeous.
Prime sub from Sergio.
Yo, thank you, Sergio.
And do it, Switch Fakey.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
This one had four-wheel steering. I love that. Like Nissan's Super Hikus. That's really cool. First of the modern era cars to have four-wheel steering. Honda's super, like, they're super advanced with a lot of stuff. And you know what we're not showing, Drew? We should whip around and show the very first Honda motor company, American Honda Company dealership ever. So that is super, super cool. So this is when they first started selling cars in the United States. And I want to say this was in 1974 is when they first came to the U.S. and this is when they first started doing cars here and everything. But that's what they were known for before. It was like motorbikes and mopeds sort of thing. And then they got into cars. And this is like a recreation of the first dealership.
Mane says, how do you guys feel about the Japan-only S660?
S660. Oh, the little tiny one? Yeah. I don't know. There was rumor that was going to come to the United States and it was going to be like something like a sister car to the Fit, where the Fit is like more like a little baby Civic and that would be like a baby S2000. I haven't gotten a chance to drive it or anything. I used to spend a lot of time in Japan with Super Street and I haven't been back. So I'd really love to go and try one and sample one. So maybe we can get out the Twin Ring or something and do something with that. That'd be pretty cool.
Hey, Dude Prime, thank you for gifting 5 subs.
Oh, Dude Prime, thank you so much, man. Dude, very cool.
You guys are so cool, nice.
Hold on, now I'm going to give Dude Prime something back here.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm going to lose it so badly over this car. This is the very first Honda race car in the United States. It was campaigned by a dude named Bob Boileau. I don't know exactly how to pronounce his last name, but he was one of the very first. He was in charge of setting up the first Honda dealerships in 1974. This is a 1974 Civic. This was a GT5 car. Bob Boileau campaigned this car. It's called Tokyo Joe, which is a little bit racist, but they call it Tojo for short. And it won a bunch of SCCA championships. And this is back in the day when like Nissan was dominating with the 510. And that was like sort of a works project. This is Honda's works project, but it was really just Bob and his son doing it on his own. And there's stories of this car dying on the track. This is why Bob's my all-time favorite. And Bob gets out of the car, says, okay, I can't figure out what's wrong with it. Goes over to the fence where the fans are and says, anybody have a beer? And people give him a beer during the race. He's actually finished a race with a beer between his laps. So that's another reason why Bob is my hero. So Bob was one of the first people charged with setting up the Honda dealerships. At the time, he was campaigning a Mini Cooper. But he said, you know what, I really want to support the brand. Bought this car brand new off of one of his new dealership lots that he established, cut the roof off of it, caged it, totally built the motor up. I want to say this thing redlined up to 10,500 RPM, which is nuts back in the day for this. This little tiny motor, it's a little tiny 1.5 liter motor. I don't know the engine code of this one offhand, but this thing is super cool. If we could look, can we get down there, Drew, and look inside the car? So this thing is really, really cool. Look at this. Yeah, he won all of that, so super cool. He passed away in 2004, and his son, Bob Boileau III, he's Bob Boileau Jr., Bob Boileau III, donated the car to the museum, so really, really cool. This is the first Honda race car in the United States. It basically built Honda's motorsport program here in the U.S.
Look at this seat.
I know, isn't that crazy? Look at the cage. The cage is so nuts. Like, that does not look safe at all.
No.
No. And then I don't know if you can get the camera in there, but at the time it was the world's fastest Honda.
I can jump around the other side.
Let's try to go around. Let's try not to knock anything over. There's like all sorts of priceless Indy cars and everything. Oh, look at this too. Back in 74. Look at that. Back in 74. Come on. This is Honda's motorsports side. I'm not that I haven't gotten down with IndyCar in a few years, and a lot of these are a lot older. So these are the naturally aspirated V8 IndyCars. Back when it was called CART, Championship Auto Racing Teams. Now it's called IndyCar, or IRL, the Indy Racing League. So this is what it is today. But these are some of the OG cars. This is a Renard chassis. And I want to say this was Dario Franchitti's car, but also Paul Tracy used to drive for Team Green too, that had this same livery. But I love, if you look at this one, you can see the difference of the suspension arms in the older one. You can see the arms are not aero. And then if you get down to this one, this Lola, you can see the way they started to work with the aero
Huge
arms.
difference.
Right? Isn't that crazy?
And I can't imagine it made a huge difference, but it made enough of a difference.
Enough of a difference that they're like, yes, we're gonna build something like that, you know. So really cool. I like this era of IndyCar too. I like the way the cars appear.
Totally.
So much better than the ones today. I'm not really get down with ones today.
Dude Prime says, imagine going 146 in that.
No. Especially with that cage. Like, that cage does not look. That cage looks like something I would build. Like, even Brad would look at that and go, you know what, man, I wouldn't even build something like that. It was like super janky. So, Indy V8. Oh, so cool.
It's gorgeous.
So now this is the turbo V8 era. This is really cool. So these are really small displacement engines. So for V8, it's only 2.6 liter displacement. So it's a really small displacement for a V8. I really like it. Super compact. You can see the narrow V because they want to try to fit it into the bodywork. So that's what kind of dictates all. Dictates all aero and the power. No, really cool. Oh my God, that car was here. And this is actually, it looks like a real-time car, but this is actually a Comptech car. This is the IMSA GTP Lights Spice Acura. This was a Comptech car. This was really cool. Turbocharged 6-cylinder, I believe. And it won the championship in '93 with Parker Johnstone driving it. I was a huge fan of the GTP series. Al Holbert, all the Porsches and everything, the 962s and everything. And this was Acura did Lights version, so it's a smaller displacement engine.
Chat wants to know, Nads, what do you think of a rear-engined Del Sol?
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, of course, man. You kidding me? So kind of a Renault R5 sort of kind of like feel. Yeah, that'd be way cool. You know, and you could kind of do it with like the Del Sol because it's got that little, there's space for it. Yeah, I get down with that. So more of the Indy cars. These are all the different chassis. Back in the day, you could see the chassis designation. That's the different chassis that they run. That's the serial number. That's the model designation. That was back when Renard, Lola, there was a bunch of different manufacturers that did chassis. Now the chassis are all uniform. Now this one is really cool. This is when Acura got into the top level of like, you know, sports cars essentially. So don't know. To me, man, I really like the NSX. I like the closed top cars. I don't get down with like the Porsche RS Spiders and these, but yeah, pretty impressive to see Acura run this. I want to say this ran at the 24 Hours of Daytona.
Web designer says, I'm getting used to hanging out with Hoonigan every afternoon. I hope you guys never stop doing this shit.
Hey, thanks, web designer. By the way, I need help with my Squarespace site for my portfolio. So
Squarespace makes it easy.
I know. They don't make it easy for me. I don't know what I'm doing on Squarespace. Yeah.
This segment is not brought to you by Squarespace.
This is super, super cool. I love the way they have it displayed, too, with all the marbles and the rubber. So on a racetrack with race cars, like the tires are so grippy that bits of them come off, and they actually stick items on the track, debris and everything become marbles, and that's what gets fired up. So when they're racing wheel to wheel, that's what gets, there's actually some road rash there and everything. It's really, really cool they did that. There's famous stories.
I almost ran head first.
Oh, Jesus. There's famous story of, I want to say it was like a Le Mans winner. I might say it was a Porsche or something. And they were so excited. They're like, yes, we want to take this to display the show. And one of the team members washed the car, and they wanted to show like that the car, you know, actually ran at Le Mans. Somebody washed it for them. I think it's also cool that you can see the underbody, the aero of these Indy cars and everything. And you can see like how crazy that aero is.
It's great that Honda actually has this.
Yeah, right?
On display.
I know, completely. So it looks like they don't have a lot of the new era Indy cars, which I kind of like. I like that they have the old school Indy cars. But, dude, come on. This is the guy we were just talking about, Peter Cunningham. He owns something called Realtime. They're basically like a Honda Acura race team. They also have it's over there, Pierre Kleinebing's car. Oh my God, real deal ITR. That thing dominated touring cars in like the 90s. But this one was Speed World Challenge. This is a GT car. The NSX is more of an upmarket car, and this is actually NA1 NSX, so super cool. Love this thing so much. Like, they got this car literally off the showroom, off the factory floor, and then just ripped into it and built it into a full-blown race car. So it's super cool, and this thing did really well.
Look at this Speed Stick, Hanes, and IBC root beer. And it's like a minor sponsor
So
spot.
good, I know, so good. Oh, here it is. DC2, Integra Type R, again, another real-time racing car. Oh my God, this was campaigned by a Brazilian karting whiz named Pierre Kleinebing. Oh, super, super cool. This thing, you know what's crazy? Look at this. Like, it's a 1.8 liter, same engine, but what they did is they actually detuned the VTEC. They brought the VTEC down so that VTEC's actually a little bit lower. And I don't know if it was cams or engine tuning that did it, but they made the VTEC kick in at like a lower rate. Like VTEC normally kicks in at like, I don't know, Honda nerds help me out. I want to say in the Integra Type R, the DC2, I want to say it's like 5,500. They made it kick in at 4,700. So on a tight racetrack, this has got a little bit more of a torquey feel to it. Oh, super cool. This car was so fast that they ended up giving it, I want to say like a 59 millimeter restrictor, and they also gave it like a weight penalty too. They had it run a minimum weight of like 2,500 pounds.
Do you want to crawl under and look at this closer?
Yes, why not? Of course. Oh my God.
It's probably loud, right?
Yes. I want to go back and ask David if we could open the door. I'm just dying right now to get into this thing.
You don't
look
really
at this.
need to open it though? The window's down.
No, we can get into the window down in the race car, but look at the engine too, man. Oh God. So this is the NA1 NSX. This is a C30A engine. This is a 3-liter engine. They later went with a C32B, the 3.2 liter engine. But man, look at that intake box and everything. Oh, this thing was just so nuts. Oh. I love all the bracing and everything too. It's so cool, so cool. BBS race wheels, single lock race wheels. Oh, it's so good. The other thing though, this car had to run, this series was a spec tire series, so these ran like the Toyo Proxys T1Ss back then. I love the way they had the same tires. They had them in the same, these were from the same era, so they had the same tires. That was a TC touring car. This is a GT car. So good. I love that it's an Integra Type R too. It's a real deal Type R.
Oh yeah.
There was another guy, I want to say his name was Herb Plum, I can't remember his last name, but they colored in his headlight purple. So he had a purple headlight, one purple headlight on this car. It was a twin to Pierre Kleinebing, but Pierre like won everything. He won, like I think it's like 16 race wins, 39 top 5 finishes, and 57 starts over 6 seasons. This thing won the championship almost like every year. Oh, there it is. World championship winner. 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002.
It's insane.
Like, if you want to get in, back in the day, if you wanted to get into racing, it's like everybody would just buy a Type R and try to be like real time, but they couldn't really figure out how to campaign the cars, you know? So it's just nuts. They just dominated touring car racing. And now they're still doing it. They race a brand new NSX, the new gen NSX, and they have it in GT3 spec. It's so sick, that car. They brought it to SEMA at Rock Harbin. I don't know if we showed that. I don't think we got to that on our Twitch, but we're gonna try to get with that.
The True 77 says Honda NSX Type R or Nismo GTR R34.
Oh, you know what? As much of a Honda guy I am, man, the tuner in me would want to do with the Nismo R34, but if I had to keep them bone stock, I'd go with the Type R, because the Type R is just super balanced, you know. Right out of the box, I'd take the Type R, but if I had was going to tune them, I would do the Nismo GTR in a heartbeat. Oh, look at this. OG CRX, so EF CRX, come on, man. 1985. Oh, first gas engine to achieve 51 miles per gallon. So this was the HF engine. So that's pretty crazy. You know, I remember those wheels too, the square wheels.
I keep looking for a CRX.
Look at the price on this. 85, $8,000. That's so cool. Oh man. I know. You want this? You want this gen?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I want the next gen. That's the one. That's the one.
Honestly,
that's the one that I have.
Oh, nice.
It's sitting in it, but it's nothing. It's just a shell. But maybe I'll get another one of these. I really would like. My problem is too that I got 2 kids, so I want to be able to take them both on a drive together. So that's why I like EF hatch or EG or EK hatch. I'm kind of down with that. Keep the back seat. That might be the Honda that I do. So it kind of precludes S2000 or CRX. You know what's also crazy? In the U.S., CRX is spelled CRX. In Japan, it's spelled CR-X. So the CRX and the NSX, the reason they do the X, it's a mathematical symbol that means unknown variant, which means sort of experimental, like super crazy. So NSX means new sports, mathematical symbol X, which is like super experimental. So a lot of people say new sports experiment, or new sports like unknown quantity, like it's unlimited.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Super cool.
That's nerd.
No, it makes it super badass.
So, this.
Hard and wet.
Yeah. Oh, this is too hot. Too hot for Twitch. Oh my God. Do you know this car? This is a 1984 CRX Mugen. This was basically Mugen coming to the US, and it's pronounced Mugen. Okay, so don't pronounce it Mugen or Mugan, which is the way I used to pronounce it, but it's Mugen. And this is actually Soichiro Honda's son, Satoshi Honda, actually started Mugen with another couple gentlemen, and they built it into being solely devoted to Honda performance. It was like Toyota Racing Development, but not Toyota, not from Honda. And they brought it into the US, and you could actually, at a Honda dealership in 1984, you could spec out your CRX like this. So you could roll off the dealership floor like this. The aero kit on this is super rare these days. Like, you're never gonna find that aero kit again. So, oh my God.
Could you spend an hour on this car?
I could spend forever on this car. Look at the wheels too. Just the, oh, it's so perfect. And I'm gonna make Drew like crawl around on the floor.
No, you're good. So I brought the stick today for this.
Oh my God, this is like, so this exhaust was like, man, it's called the twin pipe silencer, they call it? Twin pipe silencer exhaust. Like, it is so crazy. If you can get down and see it, you can see like, oh my God, that is so cool. So it actually has a dual exit, so they call it a twin pipe silencer. It was really, really cool. Oh my God, I love this so much. Oh.
Sorry, chat. 1 second. There we go.
So cool. This wing, I would give so much for that wing. Just that little trunk spoiler and everything. So this was actually the concept for it. So it was designed to be like a motorsports-esque inspired thing. So the interior is slightly stripped out. And this is before Mugen did seats too. So they had different seats in this one too. Oh man, this is so cool. Still the 1.5 liter engine. It has the valve cover. I believe it has camshafts in it too. Oh yeah, Mugen cam too. And Mugen suspension too. Oh, so good. So good. Oh, I just love this car so much. Love that front end, man. Oh, that aero. Oh, look at this, Drew. Super cool. Oh my God. I love the way it's not perfect too. It's not like a full concourse restoration. It looks like this is exactly the way it was, you know, back in the day. So really, really cool. Really cool to see this. I want to say this is all Mugen piece too, you know. Oh man. And that color too, that pearl white, straight fire. Oh my God, so good. So good.
Gorgeous.
Okay. Keeping going. CX Clarity. This is Honda's. Yeah, this is getting into like all the hydrogen and stuff. So this is definitely like Honda. Like I said, they consider themselves an engine manufacturer before being a car or motorcycle manufacturer. So everything they do is around propelling mobility. So that's very big. This car came out in 2008. So, and I want to say this one was the first EV for sale in the United States. 1997 EV, Honda EV Plus. No. It's Honda's first battery electric vehicle. So crazy. When you think about that, like in 97, it wasn't really a thing, you know? It's like, what was Elon Musk doing in 97, you know? He's doing it now, I granted, but you know, it's pretty cool. This one's a fuel cell vehicle, FCX. This was kind of only given to government agencies. I remember these running around Southern California, so these were never really for sale to the public.
Yeah, there's the City of Los Angeles seal.
First one leased, FCX, certified by the US EPA. The California Air Resources Board, oh my God, it's so hard. Like CARB, when you talk about CARB EO, California's got the hardest emissions out of any state in the United States, and I think all the other states are going to eventually adopt it, but it's so hard to be a tuner and be a Hoonigan in Southern California or in California.
So why they never do anything with this, do you know?
I don't know. Like, Honda was really bullish about it. They do have a new version of the Clarity that I don't know if it's here. It's not, but they did bring out. That's the first one in 08. But they do have like a 2018.
But they sold like none of those. Like, I feel like they didn't make any.
I remember back in the day they gave one to a family in Southern California, because the other problem is it's a chicken egg scenario, because hydrogen, which a lot of people, proponents of hydrogen, say it's going to be the next big it fuel, but the detractors say there needs to be a infrastructure in place, which is all the stations that you need. So if you don't have any stations, why would you buy the car? You know, you can't really get anywhere with it. My mom had an Insight. This is so cool. I love the wheel spats in the back.
Wasn't the Insight really popular with drag racers?
Yes, for a hot second. And speaking of BC Moto had an Insight because it was super aero. So people would do, now recently they would start to do K-Series swaps and Insights and drag racing because the chassis was really lightweight and super aero.
Oh, that's cool. Chat says Toyota gives you a year of free fuel if you buy a hydrogen car.
Yes, exactly. I heard that too. I used to work at Saatchi & Saatchi, which is the ad agency for Toyota, before I came back to Hoonigan. And yeah, that was pretty cool. They would do that. They would just, to try to get everybody, incentivize people to get on board with that. But that was a good point. I like that. Man, I love this thing though. Insight cutaway model. Now, like, I don't even know how they do the windshield and everything. Like, it's so crazy. But they cut it away to just show everyone like how the construction is, and then you could actually see the way the integrated motor assist works and everything in the back. So it's pretty cool. Super crazy, right?
It's cool to see it cut up like this.
Right? So they're giving you a glimpse into the power inverter and the power unit and everything and how it all works and everything.
Dude, thank you, Never Let Off. From Auto Week, Jamie Lee Curtis among first 5 to get Honda FCX Clarity.
Oh, yeah, see? Thank you for that.
Weird.
Thank you, Twitch fam.
That.
So, see, advertising worked on us.
Dude, 100%.
Worked on you more than me, but yeah, so they take cars around like this around auto shows and everything. To give you an idea, it's like how you could see into the tech and everything. Oh man.
Trucker says, oh cool, they have the different metal/crush zones in different colors.
Yeah, exactly, that's right. Yeah. So they paint it in different colors to show you like, okay, this is an integrated structure and this is just, you know,
super cool.
Exterior.
Love this.
Drove this car. I drove this car. I
feel like no one's surprised.
This was built by Super Street Magazine. Before I got on board on the staff, I was on a little magazine called Max Power. And the guys built this. This was actually the very first tuner car that was made from Lifestyle, and they made it into a Hot Wheels. So they made this car into a Hot Wheels car. And this is like everything in the late 90s that was right and wrong with tuning. I didn't even need to look at this car. Wings West Aero, Racing Heart wheels, Yokohama tires, Momo seats and everything. But the seat, okay, so I'm a little horizontally challenged, let's just say. And boy, squeezing into that Momo bucket was just impossible. Like, it was like one of those things where you're like, if I fits, I sits sort of thing. But it was such a blast, man. So, oh, and there it is. Actually, there's the Hot Wheel, the Super Street Hot Wheel right there. Oh. Super honored to work for the magazine that got this car in, and all thanks to Howard Lim, our publisher and everything, for working really closely with Mattel. Pioneer did this. Look at that Pioneer audio in the back.
We gotta do a full walk around.
So 90s. I mean, I know it's 2000. There's a Wings West kit, HKS and a turbocharger on this thing. I mean, look at the carbon hood and everything. It's just so 90s, you know. There's the Modern Image graphics. Shout out to Rob Wilson from Modern Image. Like, when you see all the tribal graphics and everything, then you can thank Rob at Modern Image, you know. And then there was something back in the day called Honda Optional Equipment, where they did like upgraded springs and dampers, and like it was sort of like a motorsports thing, but it never really took off. So, oh my God, I'm sure these are Yokohamas, of course. Yokohama ABS. I want to say those are 19-inch Racing Heart C5s, AEM rotors. Oh God, this car's so crazy. Nitrous Express. Oh man, all the old school
Super Street plate frame.
Oh my God, the old school plate. That was the old school logo and everything. Oh, so old. Oh. I want to say
it's such a perfect example of the time now.
It's a time capsule from the 90s, you know, even though it is 2000, but you could see like the sound system, the Pioneer Premiere stuff and everything. Oh, it's so like, just ruined this poor car. I really like these 2000 SIs too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, they didn't age well.
Does it have calipers? Yes.
You know? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But they run stock brake calipers. No one had brakes. Oh, that's another thing. Going back to Bob Boileau's car, that first 74 Civic, it used to cook the rear drum brakes. So I read a story that he actually took the drums to a machine shop and made billet drums for the rear to make. So it was like the very first big brake kit on a Honda, essentially, even though it was rear drums.
Guys, I'm gonna back up and give you one big view of it, just so we have it.
Hit him with the beauties, Drew.
Just need it,
man. We gotta show the monster attack too, like so right.
I know.
Oh my God.
I love the jump.
I want to say it's like auto power cage too. It was like car crafted the interior. It like there's something like the Tokyo Auto Salon we all know and love. That's every year. at Makuhari Messe in outside of I want to say.
Oh wait, hold on. I need to interrupt you.
Chiba?
This is a great question.
Oh.
Does it have underglow?
Oh no, I don't think so. I don't think so. Which the guys really missed the boat on that one. But I want to say in 2000, underglow wasn't quite a thing yet.
Yeah.
I think this actually predates underglow. But yeah, that's a good question. I like that one. No.
But I really like the concept. Like, if you're going to commute in something,
if you have the chance, and internet now will bring it to you, every 2 years, like the LA Auto Show or the Detroit Auto Show, like a new car show, they do the Tokyo Motor Show, which isn't like the Tokyo Auto Salon, which is what we all like. It's a new car show, but the concepts that come out of the Tokyo Motor Show, it's like acid trips. It's like bad acid trips. They're so good. They're so wild. And that's what's so cool about concepts. So this one's called Personal Neo-Urban Transport. So I like that, Drew. I like that you like that. I love the way it's got like McLaren F1 style seating and everything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look at the way the dash is and everything. That's your dash. You know, it's like.
I'm thinking about how I have a 40-mile commute every day.
Completely.
And how this looks like it'd be nice to commute in.
Completely.
As long as I got rid of the fishbowl.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Because I tint every vehicle.
I love the lines on this and everything.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You know?
It's like a list.
Oh my god. So more concepts here.
Yes, and then we'll get to that middle row down there.
We'll walk the middle row and go to the bikes.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I prefer this over, like, this, like, kind of angry looking face in the front.
Yeah, I don't know this one either. Oh, this is the Sprocket. Which you want to say Sprocket, but it's a Sprocket concept car. I remember that name. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think it aged well. Yeah. So I think this had a bed.
It did not age well.
Yeah. Yeah. Check it out though. It's like a little pickup truck, man.
Do they ever sell it?
It's a Trar.
A truck car?
Yeah, Trar. For sure. I like the bed hooks too.
Yeah. Cool concept, I guess.
They absolutely don't want us touching these because these things literally can fall apart. They're not designed the way a car is designed. So they're designed just to show at an event and then go.
Super Bob King says that looks like someone tried to make a Bugatti Veyron out of cardboard boxes.
Super Bob, that's a good one. I like that.
I do like the wheels on this one.
Don't forget the bikes. We're going to
We
go
won't
to the
forget
bikes.
the bikes, but
We have
we're
a
not
middle row.
We're not bike people. Like I'm a bicycle bike people, but I'm not a
We
motor.
only have 40
I'm not a motorbike
minutes
people.
left here, so we're not rushing.
No,
just,
yeah.
but
We're gonna get out.
you
We're
guys,
gonna
don't
get out of here around 2, and then we'll move on from there. What's this one? This is an Acura concept. This looks like kind of a CLX. This is a CLX concept, 95 CLX concept. Remember the CLs?
Of course.
Oh yeah, come on, man.
Look at CL front.
Yep. That greenhouse is a little wild. Like I don't know if I like this whole back here. It's kind of wild. I don't know. I don't like cars you can't tell whether they're coming or going, like the Mercedes CLA. You know what I mean? Like I like the Beetles; those look cool. But for some reason, I don't like a car that's got a greenhouse where you can't tell the front from the back.
Look at the center.
Dude, that's nuts.
I don't.
The gauge cluster and everything.
It's like the most modern exterior, like the oldest looking.
Yeah, I know. Well, sometimes they don't. Well, obviously, this is a 1999 concept, so it's almost 20 years old.
It looks like.
Yeah.
This is.
What is this?
I love how spacious.
Oh, what? This is the GRX concept.
Oh. Yo, this is actually tight.
97. Right? This does feel like a future CRX.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
You know? Yeah, I like this one a lot too. Dude, I would daily this.
100%. It's cool. It's wide. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Honda has like some super interesting colors.
Right? Whoa, look at it. Is it supposed to be MR?
Is this a Lambo? This is a Honda.
No, this is all Honda, but look at that. I think I think it's supposed to be MR. A lot of these cars don't have engines, they don't run, they don't drive.
I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah, does that show up? I feel like this is like an MR, sort of. Mid-engine rear-wheel drive. I like that clear roof too. Dude, I like this one. This one I like.
Yeah, this is actually, I really like this.
For sure.
Oh, they were clapping.
Oh, the people that clapping, they're not clapping. I think they're students. I think it was like a school, like open house too. So they could be automotive students or something along those lines. So, dude, look at this one. This one looks like a Bugatti. 2009 FC Sport concept. That's wild. That front end's pretty sick. Dude, look at the Honda brake caliper. The Honda caliper. Oh, I gotta get a picture of this. So now this car, not this exact car, but this car in Japan was what Soichiro drove in. He had like a driver every day. I got to open up the door handle in the back in Japan. So that's the legend, OG legend. 86. This is Acura's first model ever sold in the US. So first Integra, the first little tag. Dual overhead cam. V6 Legend Coupe. 87. DA Integra. Come on, man. This is when it came around, like 91. This is like when the tuner Integra came around. Yeah. So the DA. I love what I love is when you get the JDM headlights, it's all one piece and everything. But this thing's super clean. Like when David was talking to us, like his favorite car was the first generation NSX, and he goes completely stock, which is so hard to find like NSX or S2000 these days that hasn't been molested by an owner or, like just ruined essentially. 91 Legend Coupe. And then I don't know if anybody knows this one. Familiar with this one? This is NA2. This is with the 3.2 liter. The NSX, man, this is the one. Like, what does Twitch think? Do you like the NA1 or the NA2 with the fixed headlights? Fixed headlights or pop-up headlights? I like the pop-up headlights better.
Yeah, I'm personally a fan of the pop-up.
To me, also, what I'd be down to do is a lot of people do NA1 for the engine performance and the suspension, and then they update with they do a NA2 front end. Have anybody commenting on that? Model year 2004. This is the very last model year. I want to say it was from.
It looks like most people are pop-up.
Pop-up headlights, yeah.
Pop-up or get out. Pop-ups all day. Pop-ups.
Yeah.
Pop-ups.
Yeah.
NA1.
Pop-ups. Yep. So this was also one of the first cars in the world to be offered with an all aluminum body. So that was really cool. That was really cool advance. Also used titanium valves in this car too. So it was really that was super advanced. The wishbones were titanium too on this one. It was really crazy. So only 290 horsepower, but it's super reliable. It's like essentially like an Accord engine. And I would also argue, Drew, that even if we get back and we show them the whole car, like this design today, this is like 2004. This came out in like the 1995.
Yeah.
It still looks like a supercar today,
100%.
There's a couple things, obviously, it makes it a little dated, but I would still say you could roll into like a nice restaurant with this and still get parked up front.
Easy.
Whoa, this is, look at this. This is a 99 engine. This is 3.2. This is the engine from this one. So, I don't know what the Zanardi, if anyone knows what the Alex Zanardi edition NSX was, I don't know that one. That's like a limited one. So, so cool. I love the fact that you could just take this to a Honda dealership and get the oil change and have it serviced, and it's just mellow, Okay, look at that. That's nuts. A lot of these feature cutaways, so you could show you different elements. Like this is actual full cutaway of a 90 Legend.
You can call them motors though. Engine is a type of motor.
Oh, there you go. I like that.
Cool.
What is this? Wow, 92.
It's like calling a wheel a rim. Don't trigger me, please. So what don't you want us to call it? Traumatized?
I know we're gonna trigger him. I know I don't like rims too.
No, I get that.
But I also, to me, a wheel can also be a wheel tire package, where a rim is just
that's fair.
Just the metal part.
Yeah.
I would argue. So, look at this old school Civic EX and SI engine. OG 4-cylinder. Dual overhead cam. Oh, GSR motor. Oh my God, so good. I love the cutaways. Oh my God. This was the go-to swap. Was the GSR swap. Everybody had non-GSR cars. Prelude. Oh, Prelude engine. Oh my God. Oh.
So to start with, it's due to compared to a 4-cylinder to a 6-cylinder, difference in the balance.
So cool.
V6 is like balance.
Oh, this is the Insight. This is the integrated motor assist. So this is a hybrid. It's an Insight hybrid engine. So that's really cool.
Smoother.
Del Sol SI. Oh man. Oh. It's cool. They have a lot of the really cool OG engines.
That's why a lot of Fords.
I don't know what Honda Advanced Stratified Charge means, but that's pretty cool. These are usually from like auto show displays. Oh wow, this is a zero level emission vehicle. I'm trying to go for ultra low emission from internal combustion engines. And I like this one. This is a OG IndyCar V8, and you can see the intake trumpets on that. So I don't think the race vehicle had that plexiglass. I think this was just for car shows, but that's super cool. Wow. See, I mentioned Honda was an engine manufacturer. They even did outboard motors. They have another division called Honda Power Sports. Honda Power Sports, I want to say this? No. Honda Power Division, I want to say. Something along those lines where they do everything from weed whackers to all sorts of equipment to gas-powered lawnmowers, and then they did outboard motors too. So, dude, look at this. What the heck is this? Wow, that's like a small engine motorcycle, a small motorcycle engine that they use for training. There's a generator in '64, like an OG generator. That's really cool.